Hey everyone, it's Melody with Dreaming of Bling. I'm back with I guess I could call this a bead soup design with me sort of tutorial. We're going to make, looks like 4 pairs of earrings and a necklace with some leftover beads I had from all my Jesse James beads boxes and things I've picked up at like the Design by Me that they carry at Walmart. I just had a lot of different things all shoved in a drawer, so I just started pulling some of it out so that we could design some things together. So the first thing we're going to do is, in my ambassador box, I had the Spring Lake strand. That's the word I'm looking for. The Spring Lake strand, and I made a pair of earrings using this bead right here. There were 3 of them on the strand, so I made a pair of earrings for my daughter-in-law for Christmas. She adored them. She says, wow, they are just simply beautiful. So what I'm going to do is make a necklace out of what I had left on the strand and a couple of beads that I had left over from one of the boxes. Some of the beads that I've got are these. Aren't they just absolutely gorgeous? I love the sparkle in them. They're a faceted coin bead and glass coin bead, crystal coin bead, and I just absolutely love these. The sparkle on them is absolutely wonderful. So I've kind of got the necklace started, as you can see. I've started one end, and then to go with it, I've got some chain reaction. I didn't get out some lobster claw clasps, but I'll check on those in a little bit. So what I've got that we're going to be using, I've got my standard crimping pliers, my chain nose pliers that I've dipped in Tool Magic because they I hate wasting tools and they got a little rust on them. So yeah, I hate wasting tools. So I got some Tool Magic, dipped them in there, and it gives it that soft feel, kind of like so that I can say, try to extend the life. I do have another pair of bent nose these are bent chain nose pliers. There we go. And I do have another pair, but when I moved my craft room from upstairs to downstairs, I put them in a box and I cannot find them, so I'm using the Old Faithfuls. I have my cutter tools, I have my chain nose pliers, and I have my round nose pliers. So that's the tools I'm going to be using today. And then I'm also, to do the necklace, I'm going to be using Beadalon 49 strand beading wire. I've got Beadalon number 2 crimp tubes, and with your crimp tubes, if you notice, trying to get the glare off here, if you notice on here, your beading wire will tell you what crimp tube or crimp bead you're supposed to use. So right on here it says use a number 2 crimp tube. So that's what I got out of my stash. I've got some jump rings in various sizes, 4mm, 6mm, a wire guardian, of course my crimp tubes, and then I have just some earwigs and some I'm like losing my train of thought here. These little guys, I've got eye pins, couple head pins. So that's all we're going to be working with today. So when I have a bead stopper, because I'm notorious for flinging beads on the floor, and I don't want to lose the strand since I've already got it going. And our new puppy has decided, his name's Cooper, he's a Frenchton, and so if you hear him bark, that's why, or whining. He's our new puppy, and he has decided that beads are the most wonderful thing to carry around in his mouth. So if he finds them on the floor, he carries them around. Doesn't swallow them, but boy, he likes to just wallow them around. So let's get started. So what I've got here, if I've already started stringing. I've already crimped the one end and put my wire guardian on this end. So let's go ahead and finish stringing this. Take my bead bug off. And I'm just going to follow the same pattern I had on the other side. And this is for me because it's, blue is my favorite color and I really adored the spring lake, so I am making this for myself. And I love these boho beads. I love them. And they're boho beads. Jesse James boho beads are all handmade. Beautifully, beautifully handmade. Just making sure I'm following my pattern. I'm not getting off by talking and just getting off the subject here. So how was everybody's Christmas? We had very different Christmas because now we are completely empty nesters. And all our kids, we celebrate on Christmas Eve with our kids. And our son came down from Pennsylvania, and it's the first time he's been home in 2 years since the dreaded, pandemic thing. So it was nice to see him and his wife, and it was really wonderful. I mean, it was the first time, and we had a great time. So I just got all these strung up here, and that almost makes right there. So I'm going to put on our crimp tube. Tell me in the comments. Tell me if you had a good Christmas, what your favorite thing was. My daughter and son-in-law got me a wax melting kit to where I can, like a wax seal kit. So, and then what I did was I put my crimp tube on right there, slid my wire guardian onto one side. I'm going to run it down through the next side. Run that side down into my crimp tube, and I'm going to take it down through a couple of the beads. And that just helps me keep my wires so that they're not crossing. As soon as I can find that wire. Come on. Well, oh, I guess it always helps if you're pushing the right end of the bead, of the wire. There we go. Some days I think that my glasses need to be stronger, but I had a friend tell me that, and I'm just trying to get this fish down through the crimp bead. I had a friend tell me, she said, why do you make so many faces at the camera? So that's why you don't see me on camera all the time, because I really honestly have trouble seeing the beads. And my glasses do help a great deal. Try to get that so that it's not looped like that, so that it doesn't twist and up in there. There we go. So I'm just going to pull this down, not so tight. I want it a little loosey-goosey so it doesn't look like a straight stick across my neck. And just pull this down. So you can see we got a little movement there. Get this pulled down here. Get a little tight because I don't want too. I want it to be. I don't want gaps, but I also don't. I don't want it to be so tight that that it looks like it's going to go straight across my neck, really stiff. So I do want to get a little movement going in there. Make sure my wire is pulled down into my wire guardian. And some people, not everybody uses wire guardians. I do if, well, it just depends. Get my handy dandy crimpers. And this is where I really need to look and make sure that those Wires are not crossed in there, in that tube, which I'm looking pretty good here. Then I'm going to come up, I'm going to go in that back notch, go ahead and crimp, and then, and you can see because it creates a little channel, so I got my channel, and then I'm going to go into the front crimp, front notch of the crimper, crimp again, turn it again, give it another little crimp, give it a little tug to make sure everything's down properly. Oh, and then see, this one didn't do it. This one over here did great. So that means I did have my wires crossed. So what I'm going to do is pull that out and crack that crimp. I'm not the best crimper person, so I'm going to pull that one side out, crack that crimp off, that's the importance of making sure those wires aren't crossed in there. So just pull that off, and because it didn't stress my wire, because it didn't completely flat crimp down. So I'm just going to slide a new one on. Put my wire guardian back on. And try this little process all over again. I have a love-hate relationship with crimp tubes and crimp beads. They're a necessary part of jewelry making, but it's just a love-hate relationship. Put my second one down through that crimp tube. And see, I've already got it so that you can tell now that they are not crossed. Let me spin it real quick. There we go. They're not crossed now. Because if they're crossed, they're going to rub and it's going to cause an abrasion on your, and let me just give a little give there so that it's not so tight. There we go. Because again, you want it tight, but you also want a little movement in it so that there's not that abrasion that goes on and wears your wires down. So again, we're going to go into, there we go. That made, and let me show you that one up close. So you can see, oh, well, you can see my fingers. You can see that it's right in that channel. Right there, you can see the little channel. So that's a good thing. We got it good. So let me go ahead and put it in the front crimp. That was in the back. Now we're going to put it in the front. Give it another little squeeze. Turn it again and make another little squeeze, and there we go. And now that's nice and tight. So then what I'm going to do is trim off my excess tails. And I save all these little tails because you can use these. Put them in my drawer because you can use these for making earrings. So now what we've got is this absolutely gorgeous focal. So then I'm going to take my chain reaction. I'm going to take my chain reaction. And I'm trying to decide because I really want some of these beautiful little blue crystals in there because I thought they matched so wonderfully. Pardon my nails. I desperately need to go have my nails done, but I just have not had time. Between my full-time job, my part-time job, beading, and the holidays, it's just been crazy. And then, of course, I I had some kind of little bug. It was not the dreaded pandemic C word. Wasn't the flu. Wasn't bronchitis. She said, I don't know what you have, but it's just... And I'm going to take one of these 4 millimeter jump rings. And we're going to open it up. And you always want to twist to open your jump rings. You don't want to pull them apart. You want to twist them. That way there's no stress on your jump ring. And I'm just going to feed. On one side I'm feeding on the chain reaction. The other side I'm feeding on my focal with the wire guardian. Close up my jump ring, make sure it gets nice and tight. And then I'm just going to kind of give it a look-see-loo. And see how long I want it to be on each side. Because I want this, I don't want it to be, so I think I'm going to cut this one off right here at this, because I don't want it too long. So I think I'm just going to cut this one with my cutter tools right here like that. Then come on the other side, take another one of my 4 millimeter jump rings. Again, twisting it to open. Twisting it to open. Feed on my wire guardian first. And then I'm going to feed on my chain reaction. And again, this was the spring lake I got with my ambassador box from Jesse James with for the month of December. Kind of finishing up my month here. Getting sick at the holidays did me no favors in giving me free time. So there's that. Closed up that jump ring. And I'm going to go right up here to the next one. Kind of crack that right off. And I save all my pieces of chain reaction because you never know if you're just going to need a little dangle or... Sorry, I'm trying to get a little close so that I can see where I'm cutting that. There we go. So see, I still have a good amount of that chain reaction left. I'll put it over to the side here. So this leaves me, and this is actually a perfect size for me, because again, it is for me. So let me see. Here they are. I've got a little box of because I think I'm just going to do a lobster claw on this. So there's my lobster claw. And I don't think I'm going to put an extender on it because it's going to be for me and I know it's going to lay right where I want it to. So I'm going to use one of these 4mm jump rings to attach my lobster claw. Again, twisting that jump ring to open it. Feed in the one end of my, and then feed in the lobster claw. Twist my jump ring closed. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to put a 6mm jump ring on this side. Close it up nice and tight. And voila. We have a beautiful necklace. Beautiful, beautiful necklace. So there's that one, and I'll show it on a bust after we're completely done. So let me set these to the side because we're going to do some little earrings. So the first piece I had that, you know, I knew they came in one of the Jessie James Beads boxes. And so the one we're going to do right now is this pair right here. I absolutely loved the wood and the acrylic together, or resin, maybe resin. But I absolutely love the colors. And they kind of do match the, yeah, they do. They match the Silver Lake necklace. So, you know, I'm going to have a pair of earrings. So first thing I'm going to do is get my eye pin out. And I'm going to use my chain nose pliers, twist open that eye pin, and then I'm going to do the jump ring, because I did figure out that with that one, the little wooden triangle one wouldn't fit onto the eye pin, so I do have to have a jump ring. Twist again to open up my jump ring, feed it through, twist the jump ring closed, add that onto my eye pin, and you're going to twist this eye pin just like you do your jump rings. That way it doesn't cause any stress on the eye pin. So there's that. Then we're going to feed on this beautiful faceted glass bead right there. And then I'm going to feed on the metal bead. And then we've got this little faceted crystal right here, light blue faceted crystal. Feed that one on. And then I'm going to do a wire wrapped loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that between my round nose pliers. I'm going to bend it forward, up and over, rotate my pliers, and just let that form, that loop form right around those pliers. Pull it to the back, and then I'm going to take these off, grab my chain nose pliers, kind of straighten my loop up. Straighten my loop up here. Grab it with this. Then I'm going to grab my bent nose pliers, and I'm just going to pull this around, wrapping that wire around to the back. And if you need to straighten it, your loop looks a little wonky, like mine looks a little wonky right now, just pull in your round nose pliers and kind of just go around it. Everybody gets a wonky wire, wonky loop every once in a while. And then we're just going to continue to wrap a couple more times. And these are a little bit stiffer eye pins than I normally use. Come on, one more wrap. Let me try it with these ones because it doesn't, the tool magic on that one doesn't seem to be grabbing. I'm going to have to take a day and just start looking through the rest of my boxes. But I knew I was running a little low on time. There we go, got it around. Then we're just going to come around to the back here, trim that tail off, take our chain nose pliers, And we're going to kind of squeeze these in, squeeze that little knob in, kind of flatten it down so that it doesn't catch on anybody's clothes, anybody's skin. Straighten up our loop a little bit. And then we're just going to add an ear wire to it. We're going to open up that ear wire, slide it on, and close that ear wire up. So that's our first pair of earrings. And I'm totally in love with these little guys. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. So that's our first pair. Our second pair, I believe, was out of the Mediterranean Vibes mini mix that came in one of the kits. And this is what we're going to be making with this one. Has a beautiful, beautiful lotus flower. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to grab our chain nose pliers and we're going to twist open that eye pin, add our lotus flower to it, close that eye pin up. So yeah, somebody said I make faces at the camera, so that's why you don't see me on camera a lot, because I squint to see everything. And they said I look like I'm making faces at the camera, so I don't do a lot of on-camera stuff unless I'm doing a live sale or something like that. Then we're going to add that beautiful faceted crystal, and then the little light blue faceted crystal. Loving those. And then again, we're just going to start with a wrapped loop. So we're going to bring it forward over top of our round nose pliers. Rotate that pliers so that it's now on the bottom instead of the top. Push this to the back so it creates that loop. We're going to pull the loop up a little bit because it seems I've gotten my loop stuck. Pull it to the back. Pull that out, grab our chain nose pliers, swap out here. And then we're going to use the bent nose pliers just to grab that loop. Because the bent nose pliers give us a little more room to pull around and to move in between the pliers and the bead. And I know we've all got, and you can do this with whatever bead soup you've got. I just knew I have a whole rolling storage bin of nothing but Jesse James beads. And so I thought, you know what, maybe I just need to use up some of these beads and do a little tutorial. One more loop to the back of this, twist it right on around. And then again, we're going to come in with our cutter tool. Kind of trim off that tail that's on the back there. And I have to do it this way. I'm going to cut my hand so I don't shoot beads across the room, or shoot wire across the room, because you know the little Frenchton would eat them up. And that wouldn't be a good thing for him. We do try and keep him blocked out of the we turned my old dining room into my craft room. Because with my husband and I, we just we either eat in the kitchen, at the bar, or we'll eat in the living room with the TV trays. And so we really hadn't been using the dining room, so because my knees gave out a couple times trying to climb the stairs. So that's what we've got right there. And then we're just going to add an ear wire. And the ones I'm using are the the little shepherd's hook ear wires. Just twist that open, and and then twist it closed again. And there we've got a beautiful pair of earrings. And I'm loving the lotus flower on there. It's so beautiful, so sparkly. So that's our second pair of earrings. And that's just some beads. So our third, well, I'll do our third pair in this one. Now this one was, again, out of one of the boxes, but it just looks so earthy and natural. I love this bead. I can't remember now which one that one's from, but I love a monstera leaf. I just love it. So again, we're going to use an eye pin. We're going to twist that open, add our monstera leaf to it, close it back up. And this is just personal preference for me. I like my eye pin to open and close to the front of my charm. Some people like it in the back, but I just do it in the front. That way I can, I don't know, it's just preference for me. Then I'm going to slide on this green faceted glass bead. Next I'm going to put on this beautiful one. To me it just reminds me of the moss that grows on trees. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So again, we're going to do a wire wrapped loop. We're going to push it forward, over top of, rotate those pliers. Then we're going to push this to the back, and as we're pushing it to the back, we're shaping that loop. Can straighten up our, grab our chain nose pliers, straighten up our loop here, so he's standing and not sitting. And he's a little big, so I'm going to get in here and reshape him just a little bit. Got him a little twisted and he's a little wonky. And you can either do this, it depends on your, you can either twist with your fingers or your chain nose pliers. I'm going to use my, this one's not as strong as that last one I did. So I'm going to just use my fingers here. Straighten my loop up so he's standing, not laying sideways. Sorry about that, didn't mean to take you off of camera. Do one more loop around. One more loop around. I just have to grab a hold of the eye pin. There we go. So then we're going to snip off that tail. Again, cupping my hand so that I catch that into my hand. Didn't get off as much as I want. And then we're just going to tuck the rest of that right in. Tuck that in, and then we're going to add our ear wire. Again, twisting it open. Making sure that's into the front. Twist it closed. And then we have our third pair of earrings. Aren't they just earthy and gorgeous? Oh, makes me long for spring. We are not super cold here in Delaware. However, it's overcast and rainy. So the third pair I'm going to do, I'm actually doing these for my granddaughter. The little floofer came out of the Design by Me mix that I got from Walmart. Isn't it just absolutely gorgeous mix? I mean, it's so colorful and bright, and I thought that spoke to my daughter. And then I had this little Howlite Heartbeat in my stash. I have no idea where I got it from. And then one of the little rondelles, or not rondelles, but the little disco balls that comes in a lot of the different mixes with Jesse James beads. So that's what we're going to make. I'm going to make these for my granddaughter. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, we're going to twist open that eye pin. And I call these little floofers because that's what they look like to me, little fluff balls. We're going to add that little floofer right onto that eye pin. We're going to twist that closed. And then we're going to add our Howlite bead. I thought it was just really colorful for her. And of course, you know, every girl needs a little sparkle. I have a sign that I'm going to put up in the back of my studio that says, "You were born to sparkle." And I believe every little girl was born to sparkle. So, you know, my granddaughter is, you know, at the age where she likes little sparkly. She's the girly one. So again, we're going to push it forward, do a wire wrap loop, rotate those pliers, bend this to the back, and then we're going to just wrap it right on around. Normally this eye pin is really thin, so I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, stand my loop up, reshape my loop a little bit, and then I'm just going to wire wrap them right on around. And look, I have gotten that little guy so he's almost sitting down. And again, if it gets a little wonky, just bring your round nose pliers in, shape it up a little bit, stand him up, shape him up, stand him up, come in with the bent nose pliers, and just finish wrapping it right on around. My granddaughter Cheyenne just loves anything girly and frilly. Now her sister Rosie loves can't say she thoroughly loves girly, but she's my tomboy. So one more loop, there we go. Trim that off, because again, we don't want anything to catch or pinch. And Cheyenne has really long hair, so I also don't want anything to catch into her hair. So let's just squeeze that on in there, flatten that down. I love Jesse James beads. I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous beads. They have been an inspiration to me to get started beading again, and have been thoroughly a support system. And they just make absolutely gorgeous beads, and they take a lot of the guesswork out of the colors. And then we're just going to add an ear wire here. Again, we twist it open, twist that open, add our cute little heart floofer, close it up, and there goes our fourth pair of earrings. And I did make those for my granddaughter, so she'll get those soon. So we have made, within 40 minutes, actually a little less than that because I stopped for a minute to answer the telephone because my husband was calling. In 40 minutes we have made a beautiful necklace, and let me get that on a bust. so you can see what it looks like. So let me just turn you around here just a little bit. Hello, hello. There's that beautiful, beautiful necklace. And I'm pretty sure that these beautiful little earrings will match it. I'm going to set those up there. Just look at that. Isn't that absolutely stunning? I absolutely love that. So there is my bead soup design with me. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and hopefully I will be doing some more tutorials and some more design with me as time is starting to allow. So until we see you, happy beading. Enjoy your day.